So guys, we did it. We reached 250,000 Twitter followers. Hey, what's going on everybody? Today I got something really special for you. Alright, so today we're going to be taking a look at the Master Grade Gouf Custom. As you can see, this backdrop is very different from what I did on my Sazabi review. I know I'm definitely going to stick with the white background, but I want to up my lighting setup a little bit just to get rid of the shadows you can see in the background there, and so I don't have just one harsh ring light making my hands look all weird and stuff. Regardless, this is the second review on my channel, so you're going to have to bear with me. I'm still fleshing out the videography and my review structure. So before I ramble on any further, let's jump right into the review with my first impression of the kit. I do really like this kit. I think it looks nice. I think the colors are fine. I think the proportions are good. It's pretty decent, especially for being such an old kit. I believe it's almost 20 years old actually. I really like the blues on the Master Grade Gouf Custom compared to what you see on the high grade Gouf. I just personally think they're a lot more easy on the eyes, but that's just me. I think the shield Gatling gun looks super cool, and I think overall the kit looks very menacing, as the Gouf should. Overall, getting a pretty good first impression just based off of the looks of this kit when it's finished. By the way, this is just straight out of the box. This is what the Gouf will look like snapped together, no panel lining and no decals. So let's talk about the build of the kit. How is the build? Well, the build is okay. I had somebody on Twitter ask me to include in the review what I thought of the plastic, and it's okay. It's not necessarily brittle, but it's not super easy to work with either. Granted, I am not the best by any means at nub removal. Either I don't have the right tools or I don't have the right techniques, but you know, I try my best. But unless you're a master at removing nubs, those are going to be the first things that you notice when looking at this kit close up. The nub placement on this kit is pretty bad, and it makes it kind of a pain to clean up, but it's not the end of the world. Unless you're amazing at cleaning up nubs though, you are going to see some in the finished product for sure. Another noteworthy thing about the build is that located in the shoulders, arms, and leg joints there are screws. Now I know a lot of people are turned off by the idea of screws in gunpla, but I personally had no problem with them. They're pretty tiny, but if you take your time with them, you shouldn't have any problem. Obviously I would prefer that they wouldn't be there, but then again, this is an almost 20-year-old kit, so there's not really much we can do about that. The only other thing about the build that stuck out to me was how tedious putting together the tubing is. Each one of those little rings you see on the head and sides of the torso that loop around to the backpack, those each are an individual ring that you have to cut out and put on the tubing. And don't get me wrong, it's not the worst thing in the world, but it does get really old really fast. Anyways, just to reiterate, as far as the build goes, it's okay. It's not horrible, but it could be a lot better. I personally would really like Bandai to release a Master Grade Gouf Custom 2.0. They just need to ditch the screws and the polycaps and improve the engineering on some of the joints and really just improve the articulation as a whole, but I'll talk about more of those things that could be improved in a little bit. Moving on, let's take a look at a size comparison for the Master Grade Gouf Custom. Here's the Master Grade Gouf Custom next to a high grade Zaku 2, and here he is next to the Reborn 100 Yagdoga, and there he is next to a perfect grade Red Frame Stray. So as far as size goes, it's basically exactly what you'd expect from a mobile suit from early Universal Century. Now moving on to accessories, this is everything that the Gouf Custom Master Grade comes with. We have 2 pilot figures, a grappling hook and alternate part, a set of 4 extra manipulators, and 2 sheets of decals, one sticker and the other dry transfer. Let's take a little bit more of an in-depth look at the accessories. Right here we have the large pilot figure of Norris Packard, and this one is kind of interesting. I went over it in the unboxing video, but it is made out of kind of a soft, almost rubbery feeling plastic. I don't know if this is something that older kits frequently did, but so far I've never built another kit that's included a pilot figure like this one. I don't believe that it mentions the scale of the pilot figure, but if I had to take a guess, I would say this is probably about a 1/30th scale pilot figure. Alright, now let's take a look at the decal sheet. Up first we have the sticker decals, and there's really nothing too special here, just a couple of warning labels and some details, but it's still pretty cool, and I think they'll look really nice on the kit. Pulling up the dry transfer decals, we can see there's a bunch of numbers on here and a bunch of Zeonic logos and these little triangles and stars everywhere. Now for the 1/100th scale pilot figure, this one's kind of weird because it doesn't include a base, so it can't stand on its own. I usually like to have my miniature pilot figures stand right next to the mobile suits, so this one's a little disappointing. Now let's talk for a minute about the grappling hook. This is probably my favorite accessory that comes with the Gouf Custom. It's a wire that will undoubtedly hold whatever pose you put it in. On one end of the wire you have the connector for connecting it to the Gouf's arm, and on the other you have the grappling hook at the end. There's not really a whole lot to this accessory, but it's definitely the most fun out of all of them to mess around with. Now here we have the 4 extra manipulators plus the 2 attached to the Gouf. We have holding, open, and trigger finger hands. And the way these hands attach is you just pop them right out of that slot like that, and you can pop that one or another one right back in. Honestly, these hands are pretty good and I like them a lot. So let's move on to the next accessory, which is, I guess you would call it a plug for the hole where the grappling hook normally would go. It just kind of pops right in there and it just stays in there until you want to use the grappling hook, in which case you just pop it back out and then you put the grappling hook's connector in that hole. And right here is what it looks like when you plug the grappling hook cable into the wrist. I personally like the look of the Gouf a lot better with the grappling hook deployed, so I always display it with it out. And we have one last accessory that I actually forgot to display in front of the Gouf when we were looking at all of them, and that is the heat sword. It was stored in his Gatling shield and you can pull it out or store it anytime you'd like. It has a tiny peg on the handle that slots right into the hand of the Gouf, as you can see right there. Something that does kind of irritate me about the heat sword is the fact that Bandai just made this one giant hunk of gray plastic. If you look at the heat sword that belongs to the high grade Gouf, you'll notice that it comes with a clear orange beam, or I guess heat effect, which adds a lot of visual interest instead of it just looking like a normal gray sword. If Bandai ever makes a 2.0 Master Grade Gouf custom, I really hope that they take inspiration from the high grade Gouf and they add an orange part for the sword. Now let's take a look at the articulation on the Gouf custom. Here's the head up and down. We don't really get much of motion here. Here's the head side to side, and it can actually do a full 360 degrees spin, which is nice. The top of the head lifts up and you can adjust the mono eye with the little gear inside of there. We don't really get any rotation at the waist, and there's not much going on here in terms of an ab crunch either. Both shoulder pauldrons are on a ball joint, which allows them to swivel and move around the inner shoulder as well. They also have a bit of a diagonal line of motion along the shoulder as well. Here's the arm all the way out to the side. Here is the arm all the way up. And here is a full rotation at the arm. We only get about a 90-degree bend at the elbow, which is kind of disappointing. And the wrist is on a ball joint. Here's the forward and back on the front skirting. The side skirting can move out about this far, and the rear skirting does not move at all. Moving on to the legs now, this is probably the closest thing you're going to get to the splits out of this kit. The hip joints are just polycaps attached to ball joints, so you're really not going to get a huge range of motion out of this one. That right there is how far the leg can move forward, and that right there is as far as the leg can move backward. Something I noticed about this kit is every time that I move the legs backwards or try to bend the knee, the thigh armor pops off, as you've probably noticed. It happens on both legs and it's pretty frustrating to deal with when you're trying to pose the kit. So anyways, this is the bend at the knee, and here's the articulation on the foot. It's not terrible. We have a little bit of a side to side here, but not much. The foot is actually double jointed, so it can actually bend forward really far, and it bends backwards an okay amount. This kit has a few more problems I'd like to go over before we wrap up the review entirely. The first thing I noticed after building the kit when trying to pose it is that this arm right here becomes loose or even falls off entirely really easy when you move it. There's nothing really holding it in place, it's just a peg sitting in a polycap. Now the next thing I'm going to talk about is probably the biggest issue that a lot of people have with the Gouf Custom Master Grade, and that is the fact that it cannot hold its own weapon up, to which I agree but also disagree only slightly. And I'll explain what I mean in a second, but let me demonstrate this for you. So the Gouf Custom has this massive Gatling shield, and the only thing supporting it is a polycap in the shoulder, and you can instantly see the effects of that right there. Look at that instant sag. The joints on this thing simply cannot hold up all the plastic in that massive weapon. Sure, you can tighten it up yourself with a little bit of work, but out of the box this thing just cannot hold this thing at all. Bandai, if you ever make a 2.0 Master Grade Gouf Custom, please ditch the polycaps and just go for all plastic joints. Now the reason I disagree slightly with the notion that the Gouf Custom can't hold up his own weapon on his own is the fact that you can get him to hold it in certain angles if you use the shoulder pauldron to kind of brace it against the torso. You shouldn't have to do this, but it does technically work only in a few limited poses. Other than that, I would recommend just tightening up the joint on your own if you want it to be able to hold up its own weapon. And speaking of the shield Gatling gun, I just realized that I totally glossed over talking about it earlier. I feel like it's at least definitely worth taking a good look at, considering it's the main weapon of the Gouf Custom and it's a very prominent part of the design. It really doesn't have a lot going on, but I at least wanted to show it off as part of the review. So the shield Gatling gun sits on the arm mounted on a little ring around the wrist. In order to remove it, you have to take the fingers off the hand, then you have to pop the hand out of the ball joint, and then the rest of the gun just sits on a peg, and you can pop it off kind of easily. It does have a pretty secure connection though, which is good. So here is what the shield Gatling gun looks like all by itself. You can kind of see that from a little bit of a different angle there. You can see the inner workings of it underneath there. Mounted between the wrist and the underside of the Gatling gun, we have a 3-pod missile launcher. We can also see there's a little bit of a spin here on the Gatling gun barrels, but it's not free spinning, you kind of have to force it. And this ammo belt right here is made of a softer plastic, which makes it one piece that you can just bend to fit into place when you're building. Also, the little camera on the 3-pod missile launcher moves up and down like this. So let's move on to the gimmicks of the kit. Now the Gouf has an opening hatch for the seated pilot figure right in the front. It's kind of hard to get open with just your fingers, but it does slide up and open just like you see right here, and then you can close it shut just by pushing it down and inwards. Not even sure if you'd really consider this a gimmick, it's just a cockpit that a lot of other kits have as well. Alright, so that's about it for the overview of everything. Let's move on to my final thoughts on the kit. I can't remember if I mentioned it in my unboxing video or not, but I picked this kit up from Amazon for about $35. I think that price is fair, I guess. It's reaching kind of the higher end of what a master grade of this quality should cost, but I didn't feel like I was ripped off. The build wasn't very frustrating, the plastic was fine to work with, and I like the way it looks when it's sitting post up on my shelf. I really hope that Bandai does release a 2.0 kind of remastered version of the Gouf Custom Master Grade, and I hope they learn from their mistakes and fix a lot of things that are wrong with this kit, because I think it does have the potential to be a really awesome master grade. It just kind of needs more of a modern master grade treatment. Although it's not perfect, for an almost 20-year-old kit, it's not really that bad. It just definitely has some glaring flaws that could be fixed with a master grade 2.0. Would I recommend this kit to someone for their first master grade? No. Would I recommend it to somebody who likes building master grades and was looking for something a little bit different? Yeah, sure. It's nothing I would advise people not to buy, but I wouldn't go out and get it if you're looking for an amazing master grade. Like I said before, I've never really built a kit this old, so I'm doing my best to not hold it to today's master grade standards, because I know that Bandai's engineering practices have improved and changed over time. But as the kit stands today, I would say it's a average to below average kit, but it's not super bad. Alright everybody, that's going to be it for the review of the master grade Gouf Custom. If you enjoyed the review, if you want to see more videos like this, make sure to subscribe, leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and if you have any thoughts, questions, concerns, or critiques, make sure to leave a comment in the comment section below. That's going to be all from me for today. Remember, keep your eyes to the skies, and until next time, this has been UC Gundam, signing out.